All right, this is AP Calculus. We are doing midterm review, and this is free response number 20, part D, which is a non-calculator free response. So again, I'm not going to completely start from the beginning because this is part D of a 4-part problem, and you've hopefully already watched the other 3 parts. So we're going to find the average rate of change of G prime. Okay, so let's start with what equation this would be. Average rate of change means, so average rate of change means old school slope. This means the old school slope for G prime. So what that's going to mean is G prime of 3 minus G prime of 1, because those are the y values of G, over 3 minus 1. That means I'm going to need to find G prime of 3 and G prime of 1. So we've already established from a previous problem, I think from part A, that G prime of x was e to the f of x times f prime of x. So G prime of 3 is going to be e to the f of 3, which we'll deal with in a sec, right, times f prime of 3. Well, f prime of 3 is definitely a 0, right? Because remember that f prime is the y values on this graph. And so this y value is definitely a 0. So G prime of 3 is definitely a 0, right? And then I also need to find G prime of 1, right? So G prime of 1 is going to be e to the f of 1, which actually is one of the rare values I know, times f prime of 1, which is a value I know. So this is going to be an e to the second times a negative 4, which is actually a value I know. So I'm going to get that this is 0 minus negative 4e to the second all over a 2. So I get 4e to the second over 2, which is a 2e to the second. Now, if you're doing this problem, you're going to need to write down this average rate of change. You're going to want to translate this sentence into this equation, and then you can go from there. But you need to start with, hey, this is exactly the mathematical equation that is stated by these words, and then you can try to reverse engineer and find the other values. And that's it for 20.